Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation window of the Lunar Defense Station, her dark eyes fixed on the endless expanse of stars. For 15 years, she had served as head of Earth's Defense Initiative, maintaining humanity's watchful guard over the cosmos. In all that time, nothing had prepared her for what she was seeing now. Dr. Chen, her AI assistant Aria's voice broke through her thoughts. The anomaly has grown by another 15%. Our calculations confirm it's not a natural phenomenon. Sarah's fingers tightened around her tablet. The holographic display showed a massive distortion in space, growing larger by the hour. For 3 days, they had tracked it, hoping it was just another spatial anomaly. Now there was no denying what they were seeing. "Show me the pattern analysis," she commanded. The display shifted, revealing complex wavelengths that pulsed with an unnaturally precise rhythm. "They're not trying to hide anymore," she muttered. The door slid open behind her, and Admiral James Torres strode in, his weathered face grave. "The Security Council is assembled. They're waiting for your assessment." Sarah took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. Humanity had enjoyed 4 millennia of relative peace. The last recorded alien contact was so long ago it had passed into legend. Now something was coming, and she had to be the one to tell Earth's leaders that their peace was about to end. The conference room's massive display showed the faces of Earth's Security Council members, representing the unified government that had emerged after centuries of cooperation. Sarah stood before them, her voice steady despite the gravity of her news. "Distinguished council members, at 300 hours Universal Time, our deep space monitoring stations detected what we now confirm to be a massive fleet of artificial constructs entering our solar system. Based on their current trajectory and speed, they will reach Earth in approximately 72 hours. The room erupted in murmurs. Council President Xiang raised her hand for silence. "Dr. Chen, you're certain these are vessels, not natural phenomena?" Sarah nodded, bringing up the latest scans. "The objects maintain perfect formation and have made several coordinated course corrections. We're dealing with an advanced civilization, far beyond our current technological level." "Have they attempted communication?" someone asked. "No," Sarah replied. "But there's something else." She hesitated, knowing how her next words would sound. "While reviewing our ancient archives, we found something. A warning, left by our ancestors, specifically about this scenario." Admiral Torres stepped forward, adding his authority to her words. "In the oldest section of the Global Defense Database, we discovered encrypted files that become accessible only under very specific conditions. Those conditions were met when we detected this fleet." The display shifted to show ancient text, its characters a mix of early universal script and something older. The files contained detailed defensive protocols and a clear warning. "These beings have visited Earth before, over 4,000 years ago. Our ancestors fought them off, but at a great cost. Why weren't we aware of this information until now?" President Xiang demanded. "The files were protected by quantum encryption that could only be broken by matching specific astronomical data, data that matches exactly with our current visitors," Sarah explained. "Our ancestors wanted to be absolutely certain this information would only be accessed when needed." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had built its civilization believing they were alone in their corner of space. Now not only were they facing an alien fleet, but learning their own history was more complex than they'd known. "What do these ancient protocols tell us about defending ourselves?" asked the African Union representative. Sarah brought up another display, this one showing complex schematics. "They left us more than warnings. Hidden beneath the surface of Mars, there's a facility. Based on these files, it contains technology specifically designed to combat these beings." "Mars," Torres interjected, surprised. "We've had research stations on Mars for centuries. How could we have missed a facility?" "Because it was designed to be found only now," Sarah replied. "The same quantum encryption that protected these files has kept the facility hidden. But now we can see it, and we have exactly 72 hours to access it and prepare Earth's defenses." President Chang's expression hardened with resolve. Dr. Chen, you have full authority to implement these protocols. Admiral Torres, mobilize the Space Defense Force. Whatever's in that Martian facility, we need it now. As the meeting concluded, Sarah's tablet chimed with a priority alert from AI. The AI's voice was urgent. Dr. Chen, I've detected energy signatures from the fleet. They're accelerating. Sarah's heart sank. New estimated arrival time: 36 hours. Half their predicted time, gone in an instant. Sarah turned to Torres, who had already received the same update. Admiral, how quickly can we get to Mars? The fastest ship we have could make it in 12 hours, he replied. That's not fast enough, Sarah muttered, her mind racing. Then she remembered something else from the ancient files. There might be another way. The protocols mention a network of quantum tunnels connecting Earth, Mars, and several other points in the solar system. Quantum tunnels. That's theoretical technology. We're decades away from achieving that. We are, Sarah agreed, but our ancestors weren't. She brought up the schematics again, focusing on a section she barely had time to study. There's a terminal access point beneath the Lunar Defense Station. If we can activate it. Torres caught on immediately. We could reach Mars in minutes instead of hours. Sarah nodded, already moving toward the door. Assemble your best team, Admiral. We have 36 hours to unlock technology. We barely understand and prepare for an enemy that nearly defeated us 4,000 years ago. As she hurried through the station's corridors, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something crucial. Why had their ancestors been so specific about when this information could be accessed? And why had these aliens returned now, after so many millennia? The answers, she suspected, lay somewhere in that Martian facility. She just hoped they would live long enough to find them. Eria, she called out as she reached her quarters, quickly gathering essential equipment. Access all files related to the quantum tunnel network. I want to know everything about how it works by the time we reach the terminal. Processing. The AI responded. Dr. Chen, I should note that the energy signatures from the alien fleet match patterns described in the ancient files with 99.97% accuracy. Sarah paused. That's impossible. Technology evolves. After 4,000 years, their shifts should be completely different. Unless, Eria suggested, they haven't had 4,000 years to evolve. The implication hit Sarah like a physical blow. Time dilation, she whispered. They're the same fleet, the same ships, the same invasion force that attacked Earth 4,000 years ago. For them, perhaps only months or years had passed. They hadn't returned. They had never left. They had simply taken the long way back, circling through space until Earth's defenses had fallen into legend. But our ancestors knew they would return, Sarah realized. They had prepared for this exact moment, leaving behind not just warnings, but weapons. The question was, would it be enough? Admiral, she called over the comm. There's been a change of plans. We're not just looking for weapons in that facility. We're looking for answers. And we need to hurry. The fate of humanity now rested on their ability to unlock the secrets their ancestors had buried on Mars. The aliens were coming, bringing with them a 4,000-year-old vendetta. But this time, Earth would be ready. They had to be. The quantum tunnel beneath the Lunar Defense Station hummed with ancient power, its crystalline walls pulsing with blue-white energy. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the activated portal with Admiral Torres and their hastily assembled team, watching as readings from the 4,000-year-old technology scrolled across their tablets. Energy signature is stable, reported Dr. Maya Patel, their quantum physicist. I still can't believe this exists. The engineering principles are. They're beyond anything we've theorized. Our ancestors were more advanced than we thought, Sarah replied, checking her environmental suit one last time. And we're about to find out why they abandoned all this technology. The Martian coordinates were locked in. According to the ancient files, The portal would deposit them directly inside the hidden facility. With the alien fleet now just 34 hours from Earth, they had no time for caution. Team 1. Move out, Torres commanded. Sarah, along with Maya and 3 special operations officers, stepped through the shimmering portal. The universe twisted around them, and for a fraction of a second, Sarah felt her consciousness expand across space itself. Then reality snapped back into focus. They stood in a vast chamber, dark except for the emergency lights their arrival had triggered. Their suit lights revealed walls of black metal, inscribed with patterns that seemed to shift when viewed directly. ARIA, begin environmental analysis, Sarah commanded. The AI immediately began processing data from their suit's sensors. Atmosphere is present but stale. No harmful contaminants. Temperature is -15 degrees Celsius. Detecting massive power signatures beneath us, currently dormant. Maya moved to a nearby console, her fingers tracing the ancient controls. The interface design, it's familiar somehow, like they knew we would need to understand it. They did, Sarah realized. Everything about this facility was designed for this moment. For us. She approached another console, and text began scrolling across its surface, responding to her presence. "Welcome, defenders of Earth," she read aloud. "If you are reading this, they have returned." The chamber suddenly blazed with light, systems awakening after millennia of sleep. Holographic displays filled the air around them, showing star charts, weapon schematics, and data streams that would take years to fully analyze. "By the stars," Maya whispered, "this isn't just a weapons facility. It's an archive, a record of everything they knew." Sarah's attention was drawn to a central platform where a holographic figure had appeared. A woman in ancient dress, her expression serious. "I am Guardian Alpha," the figure announced. "I am the custodian of this facility and the knowledge it contains. You have questions. We left answers." Torres stepped forward. "Why did they attack us 4,000 years ago? Why are they back?" The hologram's expression darkened. "They are the harvesters. They do not seek conquest or resources. They seek potential. They travel from world to world, finding civilizations at crucial points in their development. Then they test them." "Test them?" Sarah asked, though she feared she already knew the answer. "They believe that only through conflict can species truly evolve. 4,000 years ago, they pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. We survived, barely. But in doing so, we made a discovery that changed everything." The hologram waved its hand, and new images appeared, schematics for technology far beyond anything they had ever seen. "We learned that human consciousness has unique properties. When pushed to its limits, when faced with extinction, it can affect quantum reality itself. The harvesters didn't just want to test us. They wanted to unlock this potential." Maya's hands flew over her tablet, analyzing the data. "These readings, they're showing quantum entanglement patterns in human brain tissue." "That's impossible." "Not impossible," the Guardian corrected. "Rare, special. Humanity is one of the few species capable of directly influencing quantum fields through thought alone. The harvesters believe that if they push us hard enough, they can force this ability to fully manifest." Sarah's mind raced. The quantum tunnels, the encrypted files that only became accessible now. "We're already using this ability, aren't we?" "Yes. The technology in this facility wasn't built by our ancestors alone. It was grown, shaped by the collective will of humanity in its darkest hour. But the price was too high. After we drove the harvesters away, we chose to seal this knowledge away, to give humanity time to develop naturally, without the burden of this power. But now we need it," Torres said grimly. "They're coming back to finish what they started." "No," Sarah realized, pieces clicking into place. "They're coming back because we're ready." The encryption on the files, the timing. Our development over the past 4,000 years wasn't natural at all. It was guided. The hidden knowledge in our genes, the intuitive leaps in science and technology. Our ancestors laid out a path for us to follow. The Guardian nodded. You understand. This facility contains more than weapons. It contains the truth about human potential and the tools to unlock it. But be warned, the process cannot be reversed. Once humanity embraces this power again, we will be forever changed. Warning signals suddenly blared through their suits. Maya checked her readings, her face pale. The alien fleet. They've accelerated again. New arrival time. 18 hours. Sarah looked at the schematics floating around them. Weapons, shields, and things she couldn't even begin to comprehend. They had 18 hours to understand and implement technology that had taken their ancestors years to master. Show us everything, she commanded the Guardian. Every weapon, every defense. But most importantly, show us how to awaken this potential in ourselves. The harvesters want to see what humanity is capable of. Let's show them. The Guardian's hologram smiled. Let the awakening begin. As the facility hummed to life around them, Sarah couldn't help but wonder, were they about to save humanity or change it forever? Perhaps, she realized, they were about to do both. Time was running out. The real test was about to begin. Alarms blared throughout the Martian facility as Sarah Chen watched the latest sensor data with growing concern. The harvester fleet had accelerated yet again, their massive ships now just 12 hours from Earth. Around her, dozens of scientists and military personnel worked frantically to implement the ancient knowledge they'd discovered. Neural interface integration at 60%. Maya reported from her station, her voice strained from hours of continuous work. The quantum resonance patterns are stabilizing, but we're still having trouble with the synchronization. Sarah pressed her hands against her temples, fighting exhaustion. The past 6 hours had been a blur of revelations and impossibilities. The Guardian's knowledge had transformed their understanding of human potential, but implementing it was proving challenging. Show me the latest simulation, she commanded. A hologram materialized, showing Earth surrounded by a web of quantum energy, the defense system they were trying to recreate. But something was missing. It's the collective consciousness component. The Guardian's hologram appeared beside her. Your people have grown too accustomed to thinking as individuals. The defense system requires unity of thought and purpose. Admiral Torres approached, his uniform wrinkled from the long hours. The first wave of quantum amplifiers is online. We got teams installing them in major population centers, but without the synchronization. They're just very expensive paperweights, Sarah finished. She studied the ancient schematics again, focusing on the patterns of neural activity they needed to achieve. We're thinking about this wrong. We're trying to force it, just like the harvesters did. She turned to the Guardian. You said our ancestors discovered this ability when pushed to the brink. But that's not quite right, is it? They discovered it when they united against a common threat. The hologram smiled. You understand. The power was never in the technology. The technology only amplifies what is already there. Sarah activated the global communication system. Her voice would reach every government, every military installation, every quantum amplifier station. This is Dr. Sarah Chen. In less than 12 hours, the harvester fleet will reach Earth. They believe they can force humanity to evolve through conflict and fear, but they don't understand what we really are. She took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. 4,000 years ago, our ancestors faced extinction. In that moment, they discovered something extraordinary, the power to shape reality itself through unified consciousness. They sealed away this knowledge, knowing we weren't ready, but they also left us a path, guiding our development across millennia. The facility's systems registered a spike in quantum activity as she spoke. Maya's eyes widened at her readings. The amplifiers. They're responding to the broadcast. Neural synchronization is increasing. Sarah continued, her voice growing stronger. We are not separate beings fighting alone. We are humanity. Billions of minds connected by something deeper than technology. The harvesters want to force our evolution through violence. Let's show them a different way. Across the earth, quantum amplifiers hummed to life. In cities and towns, people stopped what they were doing, feeling a strange resonance in their minds. The ancient technology was awakening something that had always been there, dormant in their genes. The quantum field is stabilizing, Maya reported excitedly. Neural synchronization at 40%, 60%, still climbing. In orbit, defense satellites detected the first quantum barrier forming around the planet, not projected from machines, but emanating from humanity itself. The technology was only focusing what was already there, the collective will of billions of human minds. Harvester fleet has entered the asteroid belt, Torres announced. First contact in 10 hours. Sarah turned to the Guardian. Show us the next phase. How do we turn this defense into something more? The hologram gestured, and new schematics appeared, designs for quantum weapons that could be controlled by thought alone. These are the tools we created, but they are not the source of our strength. True power comes from understanding what you really are. As if in response, Sarah felt something shift in her mind. The quantum field wasn't just a defense network. It was a vast neural network connecting every human on Earth. Through it, she could sense the determination, the fear, and the hope of billions. The harvesters wanted to force our evolution, she said, understanding flooding through her. But we're not evolving. We're remembering. This was always part of us. The Guardian nodded. Now you understand why we sealed this knowledge away. Humanity needed to develop the wisdom to use it responsibly. The harvesters will find a very different species than the one they faced 4,000 years ago. Warning signals flashed as the harvester fleet accelerated one final time. They would reach Earth in 8 hours. But now, for the first time since detecting their approach, Sarah felt true hope. Maya, begin the final phase of amplifier activation. Admiral, coordinate with global defense forces. The harvesters wanted to see human potential. She smiled as she felt the quantum field strengthen around them. Billions of minds united in purpose. Let's give them a demonstration they'll never forget. The real test wasn't whether humanity could access this power. The test was what they would choose to do with it. As Sarah felt the consciousness of her species flowing through the quantum field, she knew they were about to show the harvesters something they had never expected. Humanity's true nature. The awakening wasn't just beginning. It was already here. 8 hours became 4 as the harvester fleet approached Earth with relentless determination. In the Martian Facilities Command Center, Dr. Sarah Chen watched through humanity's newly awakened senses as the massive alien ships cut through space. The quantum field surrounding Earth pulsed with the combined consciousness of billions, ready but uncertain. Their weapons are powering up, Admiral Torres reported, his voice tight. Energy readings are off the charts. One of those ships could devastate a continent. Sarah nodded, feeling the collective anxiety spike through the quantum network. They're making a show of force. They want us to fear them. She turned to the Guardian's hologram. How did our ancestors fight them? They didn't, the Guardian replied. Not in the way you're thinking. The battle 4,000 years ago wasn't won with weapons, but with understanding. Before Sarah could ask what that meant, the facility's sensors detected a transmission from the lead harvester ship. The message broadcast on all frequencies in perfect universal script. Children of Earth, you have awakened. Now, prove yourselves worthy. The first shot came without warning. A blast of energy that would have obliterated Earth's quantum shields. But the shields didn't just hold. They absorbed the energy, growing stronger. Through the quantum field, Sarah felt millions of minds working in concert, instinctively understanding how to reinforce the barrier. They're testing the defenses, Maya said, monitoring the quantum readings. But something's odd about their attack pattern. It's almost like they're teaching us, Sarah finished, realization dawning. The Guardian said this wasn't about conquest. The harvesters think they're our mentors. Another transmission cut through their communications. You learn quickly. But defense is not enough. Show us what you can do. Sarah felt the quantum field shift as humanity's collective consciousness processed the challenge. They had the power to strike back, to unleash devastating attacks through the quantum amplifiers. The technology their ancestors left behind could reduce the Harvester fleet to atoms. But something held them back. Through the field, Sarah sensed a growing awareness, not just of their power, but of its implications. They weren't just connected to each other. They were touching something fundamental about reality itself. "We don't have to fight them," she said suddenly, understanding flooding through her. "That's what our ancestors discovered. The test isn't about proving our strength through violence." She opened herself fully to the quantum field, letting her consciousness merge with the collective mind of humanity. Images flashed through her awareness. Children playing, artists creating, scientists discovering, billions of people living and loving and striving to understand their place in the universe. "Send them everything," she commanded. "Not our weapons or our defenses. Send them who we are." Through the quantum amplifiers, humanity reached out. Instead of attacks, they transmitted art and music, poetry and mathematics, the full spectrum of human experience. They showed the Harvesters what 4,000 years of development had created. Not just technology, but culture, creativity, and consciousness. The Harvester fleet went silent. For long moments, nothing happened. Then, impossibly, their ships began to power down. A new transmission came, different from the others. "You understand. Finally, you understand." The lead Harvester ship broadcast an image, a scene from their own world, showing creatures of pure energy and thought, evolved beyond physical form. They had once been like humanity, tested by their own mentors, until they transcended their limitations. The violence was never the point, the Guardian's hologram said softly. The Harvesters return to each world they test, again and again, until that species learns the true lesson. Evolution comes not through conflict, but through understanding. They're not here to destroy us, Sarah realized. They're here to see if we're ready to join them. Through the quantum field, she felt humanity processing this revelation. They had the power to fight, to destroy, to conquer. But they also had the power to create, to understand, to transcend. The choice was theirs. Sarah stepped forward, letting her consciousness carry the collective decision of her species. We choose to understand. We choose to create. We choose to evolve our own way. The Harvester ships began to move, not to attack, but to take up positions around Earth like sentinels. Their final transmission carried not a threat, but an invitation. The true test begins now. Show us what humanity will become. As the quantum field hummed with possibility, Sarah realized that this wasn't an ending, but a beginning. Humanity had passed the first test, but the real journey, the journey to understand their place in a universe far stranger and more wonderful than they had imagined, was just beginning. The choice had been made. The future was waiting. The Earth glowed with quantum energy, a luminescent blue sphere visible from millions of kilometers away. 1 month had passed since humanity's encounter with the Harvesters, and everything had changed. In the Martian facility, now transformed into humanity's primary research center, Dr. Sarah Chen watched a group of children demonstrate abilities that would have seemed impossible just weeks ago. "Watch this," a young girl said excitedly, her consciousness reaching through the quantum field to create a perfect holographic model of the solar system. Around her, other children shaped energy and matter with their thoughts, their minds naturally adapted to abilities that the adult generation still struggle to master. "They're advancing faster than we expected," Maya observed, recording the children's progress. "It's like they were born ready for this." "In a way, they were," Sarah replied. "The Guardian says each generation of humanity has carried this potential in their genes, waiting to be awakened." The Harvester ships remained in orbit, but they were no longer threatening presences. Instead, they had become bridges, connecting humanity to a vast network of evolved civilizations across the galaxy. Each day brought new revelations about the true nature of consciousness, reality, and humanity's place in the cosmos. Through the quantum field, Sarah sensed Admiral Torres approaching before he entered the room. Like everyone, he had changed, his military bearing now balanced with a deeper understanding of connection and purpose. "The first joint expedition is ready," he announced. "The Harvesters have offered to take a human team to their homeworld. The Security Council wants you to lead it." Sarah turned from the children's demonstration, surprised. "Me? You were the first to understand what the test was really about," Torres explained. "You showed us there was another way." The Guardian's hologram appeared, its presence now a familiar comfort. "The journey ahead is more extraordinary than anything your ancestors imagined. The Harvesters are not the only teachers in the galaxy, nor are they the most evolved. They are simply those who were assigned to watch Earth, to wait for the moment when humanity was ready." Sarah walked to the facility's observation window, looking out at the Martian landscape. Already, quantum engineering was transforming the red planet, creating habitable spaces through the collective will of human consciousness. But that was just the beginning. "What we're becoming," she said quietly, "it's not just about power or technology, is it? We're part of something larger." "You begin to understand," the Guardian replied. "The universe is not merely physical. Consciousness itself is a fundamental force, as real as gravity or light. Humanity's gift is not just the ability to manipulate quantum fields, but to expand awareness beyond the boundaries of individual existence." Through the quantum network, Sarah felt the excitement and apprehension of her species. Humanity was taking its first steps into a reality far more vast and wonderful than they had imagined. The children playing with quantum energy were the first generation of something new, not just evolved humans, but conscious beings who understood their connection to the cosmic whole. The Harvesters spoke of tests and proving worthy. Sarah mused. "But that's not really what this is about, is it? This is about remembering what we always were." The Guardian smiled. "Now you truly understand. Your ancestors didn't seal away this knowledge to hide it, but to ensure it would be rediscovered at the right moment, when humanity had developed the wisdom to use it properly." A signal came through the quantum field. The Harvester ship was ready for the expedition. Sarah felt the collective consciousness of humanity surge with anticipation. They were about to take their first step into a larger universe, not as conquerors or victims, but as equals. "Before we go," Sarah said to the Guardian, "tell me one thing. What do we become? In the end, what does humanity evolve into?" The hologram's form shifted, showing glimpses of possible futures. Humanity spreading through the stars, not in ships, but as beings of pure consciousness and energy, creating and exploring and understanding in ways their current selves could barely comprehend. "You become what you choose to become," the Guardian answered. "That was always the greatest gift, the freedom to choose your own path of evolution." Sarah nodded, understanding at last. The Harvesters hadn't come to force humanity's evolution or to test their worth. They had come to witness humanity's choice, to see what they would do with the power to shape reality itself. And humanity had chosen to grow, to learn, to understand. They had chosen to evolve not through conflict, but through connection, not through dominance, but through wisdom. As Sarah prepared to board the Harvester ship, she felt the quantum field pulse with the collective hopes and dreams of her species. They were stepping into an unknown future, but they would face it together, united not by force but by choice. The time of isolation was over. The age of understanding had begun. And somewhere in the vast quantum web of consciousness that connected all living things, humanity's light began to shine. This wasn't the end of their story. It was the first chapter of a much greater adventure.